Are you a Canadian citizen trying to figure out how you can get a green card to permanently live in the US? Well, if you are, then you're in the right place. I came to the US on a TN visa in February of 2022 and applied for a green card a few months later. In this video, based on first-hand experience and plenty of related research I've done, I'll tell you about the different paths for getting a green card, whether you're in the US on a TN visa or another type of visa, or even if you're still living in Canada. So let's dive right into it. If you've been considering moving to the US for work, you may have noticed that the TN visa is the most straightforward option you have as a Canadian, as you may have watched in my other video. A question that naturally comes to mind in that case is whether a TN visa leads to a green card. The short answer is that a TN visa does not automatically lead to a green card. In fact, a TN visa is a non-immigrant content visa, meaning that you should not have intentions for seeking permanent residence in the US when you apply for the visa. Otherwise, your visa application would get denied. However, you are allowed to change your mind and apply for a green card a few months later. Other than marrying a US citizen or a green card holder, there are two main routes you can take to get a green card. Note that although Canadians are the only ones who can study or work in the US without getting a visa from a US embassy or consulate, when it comes to the green card process, Canadians have no special privileges over other foreign nationals. The first route is to have your employer sponsor you for a green card. In practice, this is more difficult than it sounds, since the process is very expensive and time-consuming for the employer. That's why when you apply for jobs in the US, there is almost always a question asking if you require sponsorship to work in the US, and you might get disqualified if you need it. Also, it's very unlikely that the employer would start the green card process from the first day of your employment. Instead, they may wait at least a year to evaluate whether you're worth the green card sponsorship. Anyway, once the employer starts the process, they take care of filing the proper paperwork with the Department of Labor and the USCIS. The process typically takes 1.5 to 2 years until you get the green card. Your second option is to self-petition for a green card without requiring an employer to sponsor you. Of course, if it were easy, everyone would have done it. Fear not, though, as many of my friends and myself have gone through this path to get their green cards. To be eligible, you should have an advanced degree or an exceptional ability, and loosely speaking, in your petition, you should demonstrate that you're going to be a very useful person for the United States. Many of my friends and myself demonstrated this by showing that we have a few published scientific journal papers that are cited by others in the field and highlighted some of our past accomplishments. To get a green card this way, it's highly recommended that you hire an attorney that handles NIW green card cases. The attorney fees would be around $5,000 to $6,000, but it is definitely worth it. On top of that, you would have to pay around $2,000 in USCIS fees. This route also takes around 1.5 to 2 years to get the green card. One thing worth mentioning is that you can absolutely apply for a green card through the NIW program without even moving to the US. In that case, you would have to go through consular processing, and the process would take a bit longer compared to when you're applying from within the US, thanks to super long consulate wait times. As we mentioned earlier, the TN visa is a non-immigrant intent visa. That means that if you apply for a green card while you're on a TN visa, then you may be denied re-entry to the US if you travel internationally, or you may not be able to renew your TN visa. To avoid these challenges, you can work on a dual intent visa, such as H1B or L1, which also allow immigration intent. To do that, you can either transition to an H1B visa while you're working on a TN visa in the US, or enter the US on an L1 visa in the first place when you start your employment. There you have it. Now you have a good understanding of the most popular employment-based routes for getting a green card. I'm confident that you'll also love 2 of my older videos. I hope you found this video helpful. If you got any value from this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment or question below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.